men, manly men, manly men.
Tracking nemesis, completing quests, and assaulting fortresses. So like playing the game.
Win.
Pay money to not
Exactly.
give us extra money, and you won't have to play the game.
I want to play Shadow of War, but I don't want to purchase any of these microtransactions. So I wonder, is it going to feel like it's just been padded?
That's on
Like
the
to me,
designers.
like right? Like,
I mean, I gotta figure that in a number of these cases, I don't know about Monolith specifically, but I've got to figure in a lot of cases these decisions come down from the publisher on high, and they're told, okay, developers, put this in.
They're the ones
the developers,
paying for it, right?
Yeah, I would think the developers. A lot of cases, again, I don't work at these companies, but I gotta figure it doesn't always go over well internally, but that's the business reality. So it's on the designers to implement it in as smooth and fair a way as possible.
We also, piggybacking off something you said earlier about the business side of it, it protects against used game sales. If you buy a game secondhand, the publisher gets $0, and that's different than used cars or this and that, where that's part of the card system. So now, for every copy of the game that's sold used, Monolith and WB have an opportunity to at least extract a little bit of revenue out of people because a certain percentage of them will buy loot boxes, and you previously couldn't do that in a single player only game.
Have you guys seen how this has been around in Japan for a while, but you buy like a randomized toy and like you open it up,
Yeah,
like
blind boxes. They do
blind boxes, capsule
Yeah,
machines.
they do those. I mean, it's taken over the whole gambling, everything, and the collectible scene and the video game scene is pretty gross.
Yeah, so I was at Disneyland this year, and they had like blind boxes for the Stormtrooper pins, and the people I was with really wanted this David Bowie one. It was like David Bowie Stormtrooper, and like the others were like, not nearly as cool as that. It was like the the Ziggy Stardust Lightning Bolt. It was super cool, but like they kept dipping back into it, and like I was like, how much are those? And they were like over $20. It was like something really expensive.
Wow.
And and like I think both of them had spent like over $100 by the end, and they were those type of people that this like hooks.
Yeah.
And there's that random roll like.
Yeah.
There's totally an economy and a philosophy around whales and like all this stuff behind that, where like people will keep on buying things randomly to get the thing they want.
It's taken over mobile games. It's taken over a lot of stuff. You used to have just a line of like 20 figures. You're into One Piece, here's these 21 piece figures, but now they're all blind boxes. And if you want the character you want, like, good luck.
Whoever developed that, such a smart move.
On their part.
Also a dick move.
The reaction from the IGN readers on our news story was almost entirely negative. Comments saying there's no excuse for this. Microtransactions in full-priced retail games are not okay. One guy said, "Okay, I'm not buying it at launch. I'll wait when it's $20 or less on PSN."
Small messaging footnote. Remember, like a month ago when Monolith announced that was really cool fan service thing where you'd be able to import your Nemesis down and
just
play
days
it
ago, right?
more. Yeah, and it's. I don't mean to insult Assassin's Creed, but it sort of feels like a sort of more fully fleshed out, deeper Assassin's Creed, excluding Origins, because we're just sort of diving into that now. But there's a lot going on in Shadow War. It seems really good.
Yeah.
It doesn't turn me off to it.
No.
I'm annoyed that like it even exists and we have to talk about it. But
Yeah.
I mean,
we're not going to buy them, then who cares?
That's what Damon said before. Like, we'll have to see how grindy it feels. Like, if it feels grindy and they're like, hey, loot boxes, then that's a really, really different game than if you just play it and it doesn't even, it's not a thing you need to ever pay attention to.
Speaking of release dates, we got a release date for Horizon Zero Dawn's first expansion, The Frozen Wilds. It is out November 7th. Late. Does that release date have any significance to anyone else?
Xbox One X. Hey, don't buy that console. Keep playing this cool game you already have on your PS4.
It will undoubtedly be optimized for PS4 Pro and look very gorgeous.
Game's already on PS4 Pro.
They do tune it up for Pro.
Yeah, that is the same release date as Xbox One X and Crackdown 3, of course.
It looks like it's in. It looks like Yellowstone or something. There's like these weird chemical pools.
What's
or
both-
volcanic pools. Did you
wait,
see the hot
yeah,
springs in the
yeah.
image?
Maybe I didn't catch it.
It's so cool. So it's like an image of this big panoramic view of the mountains, and it's like winter. And I thought the same thing as you. I was just going to be either northern or up in the mountains or something. But then there's these those rainbow-colored pools that I think are from Yellowstone.
It's really gorgeous. I mean, but it's also no different. When Skyrim was first announced, right? So how boring, a big snowy continent, but then there's a swamp and there's other stuff. Like, I expect this to be similar to that.
I see, yeah. Obviously, Horizon is a PlayStation 4 exclusive. Do you think it's a play by Sony to sort of like pull some attention away from the launch of the Xbox One X?
No,
They just thought that.
What I do think it is, though, is if you look like, Sony, they've got these great, they've got the third